Welcome back to my channel for another video. My name is Riaa and I make motherhood and lifestyle videos. If you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. I'd love to have you a part of my family here on YouTube. So first off, Happy New Year. I cannot believe it's already a whole nother year. I feel like last year just kind of flew by. In today's video, I will be sharing with you guys my reading goals for 2020. So if you watched my last video, then I talked to you guys about my reading goals and how I set that up and the purpose of my goals within the goal that I set for myself. So my goal for this year is to read 20 books. Again, I did not make it to 20 last year. I really was hoping that I was going to, but it just didn't happen. It's okay, it's a new year, and I'm hoping to reach that goal this year, which is why I kept it at 20. So along with my goal of reading 20 books for the year, I want to share with you guys the other set of goals that I have, as well as some books that I've already chosen to hopefully get read this year. I'm sorry if you hear Scarlett in the background. We are in my workroom and she has a tendency of finding things in the most unexpected places. And so yeah, if you guys hear anything, it's Scarlett, and it's also a work day, so there's lots of big trucks passing by our house. So I do apologize for the extra noise, but that's motherhood for you, so. Okay, so enough of that. Now let's just jump right into the goals. I have set myself up to read 2 historical fiction books this year. I don't have any historical fiction books picked out for the year yet, but I'm sure that I will come across some really great ones and I can't wait. I managed to read 3 historical fiction books last year, and I probably could have upped it to 3 this year, but like I said, I don't have any in mind, so I went ahead and just stuck with 2. I've also chosen to read 1 classic this year. Last year, I set myself up to read 3 classics. 3. You see my crooked finger? I cannot do that. Ugh, small fingers. Last year, I set myself up to read 3 classics, and I ended up not reading any at all. And I've actually already picked out that classic to read this year. If you guys watched my Get to Know Me video, then you know that Jane Austen is one of my favorite classic authors, and I've actually read all of her books except one, and that is Persuasion. I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet, but I figured this year would be the perfect year to do it. Hopefully I get to it. I really do plan on it. And if I manage to read more than 1 classic, then that's awesome. But I'm hoping to at least get to this one for sure. My next goal, again, is to finish or complete 3 series, trilogies, duologies, any of those things. I think I completed 2 series last year and I started a new one. So I do want to go ahead and finish that series. And I also have another series that I didn't read any books to last year. It's actually been a few years since I've read those books. I'm not going to reread them this year, but I am going to kind of refresh my mind and go ahead and check Goodreads and see the synopsis and reviews for them. And that series is A Darker Shade of Magic. I do have A Conjuring of Light. I believe it's the last book to the trilogy. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I have not finished it yet. It's such a good series. I really loved it. So this is one that I'm really hoping to read this year. Next on my list, I have a goal to read 1 book by Jodi Picoult, 1 book by Casey West, and 1 book by Kristen Hanna. Last year, I discovered Kristen Hanna. The Nightingale was my favorite book of the whole year. I loved it. It was a beautiful historical fiction book. If you saw my favorites video, then you know how much I love that book. I do plan to hopefully read more of Kristen Hanna this year. So Jodi Picoult is another one of my favorite authors, and so I always try and read at least 1 of her books. There's actually a book of hers that's been out for a few years now that I've had on my shelves and I just have not read it, and that is Small Great Things. I have heard amazing things about this. It is one of those very controversial books. Again, it speaks on one of those really touchy subjects that I think is super relevant in today's society, which is one thing I really love about Jodi Picoult, is that her books are always focused on a very controversial topics and just taboo subjects that are not really talked about and you don't see very much of in literature. And so Small Great Things is definitely focused on a very controversial topic, like I said, and it's one that I'm really hoping to read this year. And Casey West is a young adult romantic fiction writer, and I really love her books. They're super easy, breezy reads. They're really like cutesy, fluffy romance. I discovered her a few years ago, and I've read most of her books that she has out, but she's actually released a lot over the last 2 years, and I have a lot of unread books by her, and so I'm hoping to read some of her books this year because she is one of my favorite authors. The next goal I have is to read 4 books that have been on my shelves for over a year. So fun fact, I actually have a lot of unread books on my shelves that I've had for a really long time. I think a couple of years ago I did a huge book haul from Book Outlet and I got a lot of really awesome YA books, and since then they've just kind of been sitting on my shelves. and I'm really hoping to kind of knock that down. I have seen this trend on Instagram where it's like you read 20 for 20, so it's 20 books on your shelves for the year of 2020. Obviously, my goal for the year is to read 20 books, and I know that I'm not gonna read more than that probably, and so 20 for 20 is a little bit unrealistic for me. Hey guys, it's Editing Maria here. So I forgot to mention that the reason why that goal is unrealistic for me is because there are so many new releases coming out in the new year that I'm looking forward to reading. And I also just did another huge book haul from Book Outlet, and I'm waiting on a ton of new books to come in. And there are a bunch of those that I would like to get read this year as well. So that is why the 20 for 20 is unrealistic for me. Just had to clear that up. But I decided to choose at least 4 books on my shelves. And as you've seen so far, I have 3 books that I've already had on my shelves for the past couple of years. But I did choose 2 extra, so I have 5 in total to choose from. And those are The Crown's Game by Evelyn Skye. I actually started to read this book a couple of years ago. I think it was that year that I found out I was pregnant with Scarlett, and like I told you guys in my last video that when I found out I was pregnant with her, for whatever reason, reading just was not something that interested me at the time, and so I put it down and I haven't picked it up since. So I'm hoping to get to that this year. The next book is actually a book that I just got last year, but it's been out for I think about a year or a little over a year, and that is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. I've heard amazing things about this book. If you've read Leigh Bardugo's Grisha trilogy, then you will recognize the main character of King of Scars, and that is Nikolai Lancelov. I think that's how you say his name. This book is about him, and I actually think he's got his own series. I think that there's gonna be more books to this. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I've heard great things about this, and I'm so excited to get to it. Next is to read 2 books by 2 new authors. So I put that goal on my list because as you know, I always like to try and read a variety of books in different genres, and when you are stepping into different genres, you often find new authors that you either love or you hate. And so that is the reason this goal is on my list, because it gives me some diversity in my reading, and it helps me discover new authors, new writing styles, and hopefully I find new favorites. So this next goal is pretty new, and it's only the 2nd year that I've added it to my list, and that is to read 1 autobiography or biography. This is a new genre for me, and now that I'm a little bit older, I've realized that I really enjoy this genre. If you watched my last video, then you know this already, but if you haven't, then now you know, and you should go watch that. But anyways, yes, so that is a new goal, and I am going to be doing that again this year. I think last year I only managed to read 1, and I want to try and do that again, but if I can read more than that, of course, that's always a good thing. My next goal is to read a book or series that is going to be turned into a film or a TV series, or already has been. There have been so many books that are being turned into series or have new movies that just came out, and I have not read those books yet. And I am one of those people who really enjoys reading a book before I go and watch the movie, and so I really need to catch up. I know that Leigh Bardugo's 6 of Crows is going to be a Netflix series, so I might reread that, and that's totally fine if the books are rereads. That counts. As long as I read, that's pretty much the goal. But yes, I've heard that that one is going to be turned into a series, and so I really want to try and reread that before it comes out. My last goal is a new goal that I've added for the year, and that is to read 3 children's books with Scarlett every month. So Scarlett is a bibliophile in the making, and I cannot tell you how happy that makes me. Knowing that she loves to read as much as I do has been something that I really have enjoyed and I cherish with her. It's something that we bond over, and it just makes me happy that she genuinely loves to read. We go to the library all of the time, and thankfully where we live, our library has an amazing children's program, and they always have activities or games and story time and stuff like that, and so it's always a lot of fun. We do go to the library often, and we try to go at least once a week, if not 2 times a month. It's something that she really enjoys, and like I said, being able to bond with her over books has just been amazing, and it's something that I love about motherhood so far. And so I wanted to be sure and include something with her in my reading goals for this. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe subscribe before you go. If you have already set your reading goal for the year or you have read any of these books, be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know what your goals are and what books you plan to read, and if you plan on reading any of the books that I mentioned today. I will have my Goodreads account linked down below in case you guys decide to join me in this challenge this year. Thanks so much for watching. You guys have a happy new year and have a blessed and beautiful day. Bye.